If you're watching this, you're probably tired of feeling like she turns every tiny comment into a 3-day argument, and you're wondering if the juice is even worth the squeeze anymore. But what if I told you the problem isn't her reaction, but the tone you never realized you were giving off in those crucial moments? In this video, I'm going to show you how to stop arguing with women permanently so that you can have more peace, less drama, and an exciting sexual relationship that actually doesn't drain you. To start with, what you have to understand is that fundamentally, women are like mirrors. They magnify and reflect your emotional state. That means that what you say is not what she hears, but what she feels based on your tone. All peaceful relationships must start, however, with choosing the right prospect, the right woman, because it will make this process more bearable and easy to implement in your relationship. The right woman will not only be receptive to you, but it is also less likely to create drama and noise in your life. But even then, let's be honest, you are still going to get your hands dirty because relationships actually take work and most conflicts originate from the subtle negativity in your tone that often is invisible to you but very obvious for her. Which takes me to my first point. It all starts with your emotional tone. Women are so susceptible to your tone that no matter how sweet your words sound, if you show traces of irritation and negativity, the message cannot land positively. The way you serve your words must evoke warmth and calm, while still maintaining a degree of emotional presence. You have to think of yourself like an oak tree. You are an emotional anchor that is hard to move but can provide shelter during her emotional storms. You cannot fight the wind or the bad weather because that doesn't stop its existence. But you can be conscious of your emotions. Your responsibility is to hold back from expressing irritation when her reaction is disproportionate to the situation. Trying to convince her that she's wrong only is going to reinforce her negative feelings. Your relationship has an environment, and that environment has text and it has subtext. The text is the communication that happens through words. This is how you communicate from day to day. The subtext, on the other hand, is the communication that happens through body language and emotional tone. You, as a man, are likely more focused on the text because it feels more logical, but a woman is more focused on the subtext because she is more sensitive to feelings than you are. As a result, the tone that you use in any given situation controls the course of the interaction and the emotional state of the woman. That means that the more control you have over your emotions, the more you can control your tone, and the more control you have over her emotional state, plus the situation you find yourself in. I'm sure you have been in a situation where you are having a disagreement on something trivial, and she says something out of turn that just doesn't rub you the right way, and it sounds almost like a provocation to you. You immediately project that in your tone, and what she picks up is irritation and negativity, which actually takes all her current emotions and makes them 10 times worse. This is what escalates the situation to extents that weren't even necessary. And if that wasn't bad enough, you usually fuel the fire without realizing it, making her feel like shit for overreacting, when in reality, you had the freedom to de escalate if you were more conscious of the subtext of the situation. The difference between using a neutral versus a negative tone could potentially decide, believe it or not, whether an issue that could be solved in 5 minutes becomes a 1 week argument that undermines your whole peace and focus. By being able to remove negativity and actually use silence to space out your responses, You have more control over her emotional state and makes it far easier for you than trying to argue directly with her reactions, which is always a losing battle. True leadership in relationships is no different than business. It's composure under pressure. By refusing to mirror back her reactions and being able to stay calm, you can stabilize things when she doesn't have the facility to do so. And what she is asking for really is to be guided by you. However, tone is not the only diffuser that can stop arguments. While it is really effective, there are other tools you can couple it with to add a little seasoning to the situation without directly attacking her or making her feel dismissed. Humor is a big diffuser, and it pairs perfectly with tonality because it can immediately make a woman laugh and bring her back into connection much faster than logic ever can. Tone is more about delivery, so how intense and smooth everything flows. But humor is more about wording and being amusing. So if you can call her an affectionate nickname, for example, or tease her physically in a way that triggers a new feeling, you can redirect her emotions. Having a sense of play in your relationship will keep it exciting. And what you will find out is that it's not only effective with women that you are dating, it will also help with raising daughters, handling mothers, managing female co-workers, and actually even with dealing with emotional kids. It's an interpersonal skill that goes beyond romantic relationships. Now, I know what you might be thinking. This sounds like a lot of work, or that it shouldn't be this hard, and that it's really exhausting having to remember all these things and actually apply them, right? And I hear you because, quite honestly, I've been there. You have one argument, which triggers another argument and so forth. I have been through that phase myself, and it's really exhausting. It distracts you from work, and having been unaware of the forces at play and how much opportunity I actually had to turn the situation around, I thought it's not even worth fixing. But the reality is that you, as a man, must operate at a higher level of emotional discipline than her, obviously, because you have the natural ability to maintain balance when everything is falling apart around her. And a lot of men tend to forget that and start to act like a woman and blame her for it, which I can understand because none of this really works. If you pick the wrong woman, you'll always be walking on eggshells, and no amount of technique or emotional control can fix someone who is fundamentally damaged. A combative or dramatic woman will be like an operating system that runs dozens of unnecessary, high demand background processes at all times without any stoppage time. She creates needless crises, brings back old arguments, constantly requiring you to keep an eye out for her mood swings, 20 of them. This drains your limited capacity for processing emotions. You spend all your cognitive energy trying to keep the relationship from crashing, leaving you with zero mental bandwidth for self improvement, personal ambitions, or just enjoying life's simple pleasures. Emotionally healthy women are actually rare, and they require a very specific kind of man who can set the right environment, the right resources for her to evolve in a positive way, because you can easily destroy her character if you're weak and unaware. If you found this helpful, click on this video to learn more about how to keep your relationship playful and exciting so that you're not only having less arguments, but also building sexual desire that keeps your woman wanting more. Until then, see you in the next one. Thank you.